Sonic, one of the most popular video game characters of all time, a brand ambassador for SEGA. He lies among the other most recognizable video game characters like Mario and Pac-Man, yet he has one main difference. Have you ever paid for, let alone played a modern Sonic game? Let's rewind back to 1991 when Sonic was created. Back when companies like Atari and Nintendo originally took off in terms of sales, video game consoles became a household item along with the games that people would be playing on them. In 1985, Mario was already established as a headlining feature of what you would get when buying an NES, as well as Duck Hunt and Rob. Whatever happened to him? So another company joining the market would need a mascot to parallel and compete with Mario. So in June of 1991, SEGA released their first entry of the Sonic series, Sonic the Hedgehog. This game immediately made the brand recognition and the sales of the SEGA Genesis rise through the roof, and ever since then, SEGA has been a household name. The popularity of SEGA as a company and Sonic as a mascot continued to shoot upwards from 1991 and then on, as they would continue to release more entries in the series for the SEGA Master System and the Game Gear. But then it stopped with the release of the SEGA Saturn, which would hopefully skyrocket sales with the new invention of 3D technology and would bring a whole new aspect to gaming of Sonic's name. However, it didn't. The SEGA Saturn's headlining game, which was going to be called Sonic Extreme, was cancelled, and the Saturn was considered to be one of SEGA's biggest commercial failures. But not all hope was lost, as the SEGA Dreamcast released in 1999 along its first 3D entry, Sonic Adventure. This was an important place in time as they would now be competing with Microsoft's Xbox and Sony's PlayStation 2, which went on to be one of the most best-selling game consoles of all time. I would mention the Gamecube, but we all know that, yeah. Anyways, the Dreamcast was discontinued in 2001, and that led to SEGA leaving the console production market entirely, and they switched over to being entirely third-party developers to continue the Sonic series on Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation consoles. Ever since then, a number of Sonic games have been released like Shadow the Hedgehog, among many more. But since then, SEGA have been receiving incredibly low metrics as of then with their attempts at making popular games. They still sell well, but it's nowhere near as many as they did in their prime. The games they've been releasing aren't even that bad either. The Mario and Sonic series on Nintendo systems have been really fun to play throughout the years on the Wii, with their winter sports games and this.
Come on, you bitch! What? What are you saying?
But ever since, they haven't seemed to make a game which really captures everyone's eye, unlike at Nintendo, as the Mario formula has been innovated on and remastered in so many different creative ways, causing their simple platforming games to be considered as some of the best games of all time. Even though it would be entry like 15 in the series, it still causes mass sales to this day. They tried making a remaster with Sonic Mania, which I happened to buy as I was like 10 when it came out, and even my dad thought it'd be a good game. And the last console he owned apart from the Donkey Kong Game & Watch was the Sega Mega Drive, which he played ice hockey and Sonic, but then he literally tossed it in the trash afterwards. I've tried to get him to play video games since, but somehow he seems to struggle in comprehending Wii Sports and Mario Kart, and even Kinect Sports. I didn't think operating a controller, which is literally you, would be a challenge, but that's besides the point. SEGA still make their name heard in the publishing industry with the Football Manager series and small games like 2 Point Hospital. They are also responsible for the Super Monkey Ball games, which I'm not going to talk about, but it seems like SEGA is stuck in a trap of mediocrity, as the only times I see people visibly playing Sonic are in the arcades at the cinema. And it's always the Mario x Sonic Mario Kart port, which seems odd to me how Nintendo allowed this to happen, knowing their interesting history towards loving their fans. SEGA have also tried their luck in other markets like the mobile game industry with Sonic Dash, which was basically like a copy of Temple Run and Subway Surfers while they were rising in fame, and also porting / remastering the old games to mobile devices, which I somehow own on my Apple account. I don't see how SEGA still manages to have a mascot that everyone knows is a video game character, but yet no one really plays their game. Maybe it's the movie. Yep, I don't know why Kid Cudi would thought it'd be a good idea to make music. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.